Okay, it's raining. I'm in the middle of some forest somewhere. I don't know, I came out for a walk and then I'm lost, I've got to be honest, I'm absolutely lost. It's quite charming though, in its own kind of bizarre, sick way. Now, with that in mind, since it is raining and you're probably stuck at home, why don't we put a website online? And how do we do that? Well, it's nice and easy. We're going to push a website, right? We're going to push some basic code to GitHub. We are then going to attach that GitHub repo to Netlify, and they're going to do the hosting. Then we're going to buy our own domain name. Okay? That's only going to cost about €10, £10, $10, whatever it is. Whatever your mad currency is, it's going to be that one. Okay? And then at the end, we're going to have this website online that's basically going to cost us nothing to host, and it's going to run like the absolute clappers. Okay? That's pretty sweet. So let me run home and show you how to do that.
Excellent, we're here and we're ready to go. So I've got my site running on my local machine. This is just my one-page CV, and hopefully you've got something like this. If not, you can still follow along. You can follow along with any site. So the first thing I need to do here is to push this to GitHub, okay? That's nice and easy to do. So by default, your VS Code is probably going to have all of this on the left. I've put it in the right because just that's sheer preference. So if we come down here, you've got your Explorer, search, and then you've got your source control. So the third one down, so you hit your source control button and we can publish to GitHub. And we can give it a name here. So I'm actually going to call this one-page site. I'm actually going to call it Tommy one-page site. In fact, let's see, I want to make sure that this is public, okay? So publish to GitHub. Ah, see it? See, it's the second one. I hit the first one. Bad move. One-page site, Tommy, one-page site. And I want to make sure it's this second one because I want it as a public repository, not private. It won't work if it's a private repository. We want a public repository. We want everything in there. Hit OK, and it's pushing up to GitHub. Let's open that in GitHub, and excellent. I've even got my wee picture there. We're good to go. Splendid.
Yeah, I'm going to find a way out here. Start to get dark, you know, you may notice it. So we've set up our GitHub. We've pushed to GitHub now. Well, I hope you've done that. And now we need to create a Netlify account. Okay, so we need to create an account on Netlify. And that's easy enough. We just go to netlify.com. Okay, I'll let him show you how to do it.
Netlify is absolutely amazing. We are going to get a blazing fast website entirely free. Okay, we don't have to worry about hosting. These guys are going to take care of everything for us. Absolutely everything. I've already got an account, so I'm just going to log in. And I'm good to go. If you've got to sign up, so I'll just go back there a bit. See if I can. In fact, I know what I'll do. Let's set up. I'll act as if I'm going to set up another account. Netlify.com. Sign up. This is the 3 options it's going to give you. Okay, you want to use GitHub. That's where your account is. But you might have an account on GitLab or Bitbucket. So it's whatever one of these that you have currently pushed your site to, or your site's code to. That's what you're going to sign up with, because we need these 2 services to be connected. Okay, so it's as simple as that. Sign up with your GitHub, your GitLab, or your Bitbucket. Whatever it is you're using, use that to sign up. Okay, I've used GitHub, obviously. Now, this is your homepage, so you guys probably won't have this. There won't be quite as much here because you've just started. So I'm going to go to sites. These are the list of the current sites I've got live on Netlify. Currently, none of these are costing me any money to run because they're quite small. Okay, that's what's great about this. They basically don't start charging you until you get to a point where you're really making a decent amount of cash. So I'm going to add new site. I'm going to import an existing project. Okay, you've got these options here. Obviously, mine's is a GitHub, right? So I'm using GitHub for all my code storage. So I'm going to deploy with GitHub. It's already authorized. And I think it was Tommy one page site. Excellent. It's public. See, I pushed that 8 minutes ago. I'm just going to select that. We've got a main branch, base directory. This can all be left at default for the moment because we're not doing anything fancy. I'm just going to hit deploy. This we might have to look into later on if we're doing stuff with React and Gatsby and Next.js and what have you. But that's a way down the line. For now, I'm just going to deploy my one-page site. And it's going to take a wee while. It's pulling all of that in from GitHub. It's pulling in the CSS and the HTML. Uploaded, and it's published. It's published already. Look at that, that's live. That's it, we've now got a live site. However, we have got a rather strange looking domain name. HTTPS adorable biscuits app. That's not terribly professional, right? You're not going to send anyone to something that's got a domain name like that. At least I hope you're not.
Right, so we've pushed the GitHub, we've set up our Netlify account, and we've connected our Netlify account to that repo, so we should now have a live site. The next step is to register our own domain name. Okay, and this is going to be dirt cheap. It's only going to cost you €10, £10 or whatever, so don't get all excited.
There's a load of places that you can buy your domain from. There's a couple that I would advise you don't use, particularly 123reg. They're cheap, but they're also kind of, they're kind of, I'd avoid them personally. The cheapness is all they've got going for them, basically. Bless their little hearts. So for registering this domain, I'm just going with Google Domains. Now, Google have just sold their business, their domain business, literally last week, I think. They sold it to, actually, I can't remember. But they have sold it. But I think the service is still going to be the same. So I'm just going to use this to register my domain. So there's a few things we want to look out for when we're registering a domain. Obviously, we want a name that's as short as possible. Okay, because we don't want people getting confused when they're typing out a really long domain name. So we want to keep it nice and short. Second thing is we don't want to avoid the use of hyphens inside our domain. So if I say like Tom-Sweeney, that's not as good as just having Tom Sweeney just all running together like that. It might seem like a nice solution to put hyphens in, like Tom Sweeney, developer or whatever, but want to avoid that as much as possible. So keep it short, avoid hyphens, use language as much as possible, so don't make up words or misspell words. There was this big thing for a time where people were doing things like flicker, with an R, instead of flicker. That time's mostly past. Domainer instead of domainer, that kind of thing. Unless you plan on having a massive company, avoid it. Just keep it nice and simple, especially for this site. So I'm just going to use Tom Sweeney. I'm just going to type in Tom Sweeney, and I'm going to see what they've got. I'm going to see what domains they give me. So yeah, we've got tomsweeney.org, tomsweeney.info, and tomsweeney.uk. tomsweeney.co.uk. I don't really like any of those, to be honest. tomsweeney.xyz, tsweeney.1, that's not bad. tomsweeney.studio.store.blog.live. I'm actually going to go with tomsweeney.dev, and that's only going to cost, I think it's £10 per year. That's pretty good. So I'm going to go with that, just go ahead with the purchase. Our domain is now bought. Perfect. Paid my wee £10 and I am good to go. So this is my Google domains here on the right, and on the left we have our Netlify account. So I'm going to come back to my wee homepage and then have a look at my sites. So this is the one we've been looking at, this adorable biscuit. Yeah, that one. I want to attach this domain that I've just bought, this tomsweeney.dev. I want to attach that to this running site, okay? It's fairly easy. Shouldn't be causing us too many problems. There's a couple of ways we can do this. I'm currently going to go for the simplest option that is, and that's to shift the DNS. Basically, I want Netlify to handle the DNS for this site. So I'm going to transfer my DNS servers to them and let them manage that. DNS, now that's an interesting one. How do we describe DNS, I wonder? DNS, Domain Name System. You have a computer, so you type in that funky domain you just bought for your website. Your website is stored on another computer. Let's call that computer a server, because that's exactly what it does. It serves things over the internet. This server has an IP address attached, just like every other computer on the internet. This address or number is each computer's unique identifier. It's a little bit like a phone number, really. In fact, we could probably access our server using that very number if we wanted, but who wants to do that? So you buy a domain name so that you can have a convenient, memorable string of words to type into that address bar. So every time you type tomsweeney.dev into your browser, it's making a request to a DNS server asking, what is the address of the web server where tomsweeney.dev is located? Your browser is then able to pull that data directly from the server. The world's a big place, and there are a lot, and I mean a lot, of DNS servers in it. So when you change the values of your domain name, when you update the DNS for your domain name, you're only updating the DNS for one DNS server. That server then has to contact another server, and that server then contacts another server, and those details are updated in each of these servers. That's called propagation. And so it can take anywhere up to 48 hours for those changes to be seen around the globe, because you've got to have one computer contact another computer, another one, another one, another one, another one. Now, this has been a very simplistic overview of what DNS is, but there's a lot more to it, as you can imagine. But this is going to get started, I think. This should be good enough. So I'm going to let these guys handle my DNS. Okay, so let's go into domain settings. And I'm going to add a domain. So at present, I've got this adorable thingamajigger. I want to add a domain to this. And my domain name is tomsweeney.dev. Let's verify that. The first thing it's telling me is tomsweeney.dev is already registered. If you registered this domain through a different registrar, select Add Domain to add it to your site. You can configure Netlify DNS for this domain later. So let's add that domain now. You can see here, we've got this little exclamation point that's saying awaiting external DNS. Right, so let's click on that. Interesting, it's got all these options here. I'm going to ignore all this for just now, okay? I'm going to go for the simplest option possible, which is transferring the DNS servers from Google over to Netlify. You can see it right at the bottom of this option for use Netlify DNS. Set up Netlify DNS for tomsweeney.dev. Yep, let's just click on that. Adding the domain to Netlify, you must own tomsweeney.dev to complete all the steps. We do indeed own tomsweeney.dev. Let's click on verify. it's already registered. And if you registered this domain through a different registrar, select add domain. We used Google Domains to register this domain. So we're going to add domain here. It's going to start, right, we're going to continue. That's excellent. And now this is where the magic happens. So these are the names of Netlify's DNS servers. I'm just going to switch over to Google Domains now and hit the DNS tab. Okay, so to get there, I've got all my domains here. I'm going to click on tomsweeney.dev, click on DNS. You can see here I've already got these records. I'm actually going to be just getting rid of them essentially. And we're going to go to custom name servers. See it up here? Just at the top, custom name servers. Manage name servers. And here we are. Now, I've already put these in, but basically what you're doing is you're just copying them one by one. Control C, Control V, Control C, Control V, Control C, Control V, Control C, it's very boring, and then we're pasting it in, Control V. You might have to add more, so you can see it's got the option, add name server. So there's 4 here, and we need 4 name servers there. So just click on add name server if you don't have enough inputs there. Now we're going to click on save. And this is now telling me we've got custom name servers have been set up but are not in use. Okay, so what's all this about? It's here at the top. Your domain isn't using these settings, so we can switch to these settings. See, we've got this option here. Switch to these settings. And this is where all the magic's going to happen. These DNS settings are active. Changes are published immediately, but may take time to propagate. And this is where we have to wait for an indeterminate amount of time.
Okay, so that's going to take a while. DNS updates always do. Why? Because, well, DNS isn't just hosted in one computer. It's hosted computers all around the world, and they have to propagate. So when you update your DNS, it's only updating one computer. That then sends an update signal around the globe. Okay, so it can take anywhere from 24 to 48 hours for DNS to update. However, we've chosen a rather nice host. We've chosen Google, and we've chosen Netlify. Those are sort of top tier, right? If you use one of the cheaper ones, trust me, I've updated DNS in the past and it's never updated. Literally, they don't even bother updating it, and you're left there sort of on the phone to these people. So as long as you go with sort of decent registrar for your domain name and a decent web host, you should be fine. You should be fine. So, you know, we've waited a little while. I think we can go back and check it and see if everything's ready.
We are back on Netlify, and we can check to see if our DNS has been updated. So if I click on, and you can see it's updated here, it's saying tomsweeney.dev, which is ideal because this is what we want. We don't want that long mental domain name. Can't remember what it was called. Domain name settings, and you can see both are attached to Netlify DNS. That took about 30 minutes. Now that's obviously going to be different depending on where you are in the world, but that's pretty tasty. 30 minutes later, we've got this website up and running. So all I need to do now is just check. So if I say tomsweeney.dev, spell it right, tomsweeney.dev, and it's up. Look at the speed of that. Look how quickly that loaded, and this is completely free. So for the sake of £10, €10, 10 whatever, we've got a website up and running that we can change nice and simply. Well, if we know how to code. And that's about it, I think. I think that's about it. Maybe.
what we could try now is maybe updating the site and see how quickly that runs.
Yeah, let's do that then. Anything to get this video finished. We have the code for our site, opening Visual Studio Code, and we have our live site. So this is the one that's on the internet. Yeah, it's the fancy one that we've got our domain attached to, tomsweeney.dev. Let's change this a bit. Okay, I'm not going to do much to it. Let's say Thomas Sweeney, blah, 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 blah. I'll change this up here. Okay, see what it says, hello there. I'm going to change that to hi. Just hi, and then that's basically it. I'm going to hit save. Then I'm coming over to my source control. See it here? We've got one pending change. Of course we have, because we've just changed hello there to hi. And I'm just going to add a commit message here. Basic outline of what I've done. Changed title message on homepage. I'm going to commit that. Then I'm going to sync those changes. So this is pushing to GitHub. Netlify is then notified of those changes. Okay, so Netlify knows that there's been a change of the source code on GitHub, and it's grabbed those changes, okay, and it's going to compile, and look at that, I just hit refresh and it's changed. That is phenomenal, isn't it? See how quick that was? I'm going to change it back to hello there. Changed back, title. Right, just to get this done. Sync those changes. Exact same thing again, it's pushing up to GitHub. Netlify's been notified that the source code has changed and it's going to recompile. It's not done it quite yet, let's keep hitting refresh. It's taking a little bit. There we go. Literally, I mean, that was about 10 seconds, do you think? That's pretty amazing, isn't it? No, it is. Come on, it's amazing. Amazing, right? Say it after me. It's amazing. My goodness, it's amazing. Okay.
Okay, so we're out of the woods. Fantastic. Back in the street. Fantastic. You've all got your website up and running. Fantastic. So I'm sure there's a metaphor or something here, right? Being lost in the woods and keeping going, and you can sort of apply that to your learning. If you just keep going, everything will be okay. I mean, I think that's what I'm trying to say anyway. But the main point is that this is difficult. What we're doing is difficult. If you're just starting, it's easy to get dissuaded from doing it. It's easy to get put off. I know what it's like. I mean, I've got to keep up with this, you know, and I've been doing it for years, and you can see I'm at a decent age. I've been doing this since I was in my 20s, my early 20s. And you have to just keep going, you have to keep relearning things. So today we looked at something that I think, if you're just starting out, you've probably not thought about before, and that's DNS. And DNS is a big subject, and we'll go into it, I think, in more depth as time goes on. But for now, you know, if you've got this up and running, that's it, you've got a start, you've got somewhere you can point people to. You know, that isn't just some shady blogger website or whatever. You know, you've got your own domain name that you can, you know, you can be proud of, basically. I don't know. Well done. I'm going home.